This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by Mouse Fan Travel, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. For our current offers, just visit their website at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, April 25th, 2007, and this is episode 248 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from mgmstudios.org. On the show today, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. What's the good word, Mike?
There is no good word.
No good word.
No good
it's
word.
all bad. It's all just going to end in tears, I know it.
Death and destruction.
Also on the show today is Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
Across a lonely, hostile Mouse World Radio, our early ancestors spread out in search of food and shelter.
Oh, that would be
Muppets.
Muppets, of course. Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship Earth.
It's Wednesday. We're answering your questions, and let me tell you, since Len is on the show, it's his fault if we don't get to your question in time for your trip, because I had to skip a lot of questions that we're going to come back to when Len gets back on, so it's not my fault anymore.
It's going to be a Len show when he gets back.
Yeah, Len show.
It's the Len Testa Show.
First email is from Nick DeSimone, who writes, "Hey guys, love the show. My fiance's family is making plans to go to Walt Disney World during the summer of 2008 after my fiance and her mom graduate from nursing school. There would be 18 people going if you include boyfriends and girlfriends, and we would likely be staying at a value resort, probably the Pop Century. Trouble is, they want to go in July at the same time that I am working in a Renaissance fair. Is there anything I can use to help convince them to go in August so I can go with them, other than the outside chance of free dining? P.S. Muppets."
Yes, from the last 2 weeks in August will be value season for Pop Century, so I would say that you could save some money if you wait till sometime around the middle of August and beyond.
And of course, when does free dining start, Mike? August 22nd?
Free dining starts the last week in August. I'm not sure, man. I think it's in the 20s. I'm not sure if it's the 22nd.
Yeah, I'm thinking the August 22nd, Nick, and that might be a good. Those two. I mean, it's 18 people going. Although you could know our thoughts on free dining, but that'd be one hell of a Disney Disney dining experience savings right there.
Wow.
You could save a lot of money.
Table for 18. You can take up all of Le Cellier, for God's sakes.
There you go. Next email is from Jillian, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike, and Len. First off, I'd like to answer a question that a listener had recently when traveling from the Beach Club to Epcot. There is no bus. The International Gateway is open at the same time as the main entrance. However, there are ropes that stop you from going into any of the country, so unfortunately, there's nothing from that Epcot resort area that will take you to the main gate. You always have to walk from the International Gateway. Second, I have a question for my upcoming trip. Maybe this time I'll get it answered before my trip. My family and I are heading out to the world over Memorial Day weekend. We have a lot of family in Florida, and more than likely we will attend a family barbecue on Memorial Day. Do you guys think it would be worth it to purchase a park ticket for that day? Our trip is from Saturday, May 26th through Wednesday, May 30th. We're thinking of either getting a 2-day park hopper for Sunday and Tuesday, or a 3-day park hopper for Sunday through Tuesday. Our family lives about an hour away from Orlando, and we're not sure of times and whatnot. We thought about getting the 3-day park hopper to take advantage of the early extra magic hours before we leave for the barbecue, and the Magic Kingdom is open until 10 p.m. that night. Do you think it's worth it for Memorial Day? Thanks, guys. And P.S. Mike Newell, the Renegades start on June 22nd. Just let me know when you want to come out to a game."
Excellent.
Okay. I didn't get any Renegade tickets offer. I don't know what it is, but I didn't get any.
She works for the Renegades baseball team.
Well, where's my tickets?
I don't know. Maybe you want to go to a game with me?
Where is it? Oh, it's upstate?
Yeah. It's not too far from you.
Well, we'll do a podcast from there.
Okay.
From cheap seats. Anyway.
Yeah, we could do a broadcast. We can do a... No, we can't because they're shutting me down, crying out loud.
Scope, what do you think? Go on Memorial Day weekend or not to go on Memorial Day, rather, not the weekend. They are going on the weekend, but...
Depends upon which park they're going to. I wouldn't. That would be a day that I'd probably stay away from the Magic Kingdom, and I'd probably opt to go to Epcot. I'd probably do Magic Kingdom on that Sunday, and I'd do Epcot on that Monday.
On
Memorial Day.
I was going to say, if Len was here, he would tell you on touringplans.com, Memorial Day is a 7, and of course Epcot is the best day, and the studios and Animal Kingdom are the parks to avoid, according to him. And Epcot's always hands down, if you're anticipating big crowds, it's the best park to go to.
Yeah, when in doubt, go to Epcot.
Yeah. I would say, here's the way to look at it, Jilly. There's one way to look at it. One is that the third day is going to be significantly cheaper than the second day. So it's not like you're, paying $70 times 3. It starts getting real, you start getting savings the more your tickets are. So the more days that you buy, the cheaper per day that you're spending. So that's one way of looking if you want to rationalize it that way. You just got to figure out, again, how much time you're willing to spend in the park. It doesn't sound like she's spending all day Monday, and obviously you don't want to be paying for, whatever you're paying for that third day and, spending 3 hours in the park. That'd be good for an annual pass holder. Wouldn't be good for, when you're buying a Magic Your Way ticket.
Yeah, it depends upon what they'd get out of that third day. And the other thing is that I don't think it would be worth buying getting the no expiration on that either.
Okay. Next email's from Karen Tennelly of Boston, Massachusetts. Who writes, "Hi guys, love the podcast. I grew up in Mike Scopa's hometown of Merrimack, New Hampshire, and now live in Boston. My husband and I are now going to Disney World on May 18th. We have a reservation to enjoy the Scopa Special at Le Cellier on Tuesday, May 22nd. I have read that Le Cellier will be closed May 14th through May 18th for a rehab. Do you think the renovation may get extended and cause us to have to cancel our reservations for the 22nd? Do you know what they are doing for the rehab? Thanks for the trip planning advice."
I don't think they would extend it, and I don't know what they do for the rehab, although my suspicion is that it is some kind of cosmetic action for the dining room. And since that dining room is so small, it only takes like a couple of days for them to do it. And that could be some wallpapering, some painting, some refinishing of the floor. That's what I think is going on there.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about it being extended. Certainly beyond May 18th to April 22nd, not at all. I don't like you said, Mike, I don't think it's a major, rehab here, that anything like that.
May 14th to the 18th, right? Let's see what days of the week those are.
I don't think. I think you're going to be fine with worrying about your reservation at all. That's really not going to be
Monday through Friday. So I think that tells you right then and there that they're not going to make it go. They're not going to allow it to go over to the weekend.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next question, and that comes from Mike Vincent of Fulton, New York, who writes, "Hey guys, I love listening to the show because I've discovered it. Since I've discovered it, seeing how I'm such a Disney freak and can't get enough. I love listening to all the craziness that goes on with many of the shows, which makes it enjoyable to listen to, so I never miss an episode. Anyway, my question for you guys has to do with working at Walt Disney World. I've always been so excited whenever I see an image of Mickey Mouse or hear his name or Walt Disney World mentioned, so I've always thought how cool it would be to be part of the magic and actually work in Disney. However, I've heard some people say that once you're a cast member, you lose the magic and the fun of being there that you normally would get if you were just vacationing. I would really love to look into becoming a cast member, and I appreciate any thoughts or comments you guys could share on whether it's a good idea or not. Thanks so much for the great shows. Keep up the awesome work."
That's tough because it's really a job.
Yeah.
If you go to a place that's magical and whatnot, and then you're working there and you see what goes behind the scenes, including the bad stuff, it doesn't become any magical anymore.
Yeah. Well, my fiance worked for Disney through the college program. She's planning on going back to work there, and in the meantime, she loves it. She says, "I don't think the magic's been lost." She knows some things about that goes on,
right?
But it's still fun when you're going around and just enjoying the parks. I think you lose more magic if you move down there, whether or not you work down there, but just being close to it because you can go so often. It's still magical. I'm not saying it's going to be dead and and everything. And it sounds like you're the kind of person that probably would enjoy it anyway, But I think that just being down there and it's those trips that you only make a couple times a year that make it magical because there's that anticipation. There's I'm going to Disney World. That kind of excitement that you get from planning a trip and only going 3 or 4 times a year. I think that has a lot to do with it.
It also depends on what
the individual,
and it depends on what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cleaning toilets. I don't know if that's considered magical.
Yeah, that's a good point. Next email is from Steve Medina, who writes, "Speaking of cheerleading, I strongly recommend staying at the All-Star Sports Resort Martin Luther King weekend, as the Collegiate Cheerleading Championships are held at the Wild World of Sports every year. We were there for Disney's Holiday Classic baseball tournament, and the view at the Surf's Up pool was breathtaking, to say the least. Oh, to be in college again."
Steve, was Sylvia with you when you went? That's what I want to know.
Nice. if Len was here, he would definitely agree with Steve and all that. Next email is from Jay Penguin, who writes, how on earth did you manage to get Lou to come on the show after Len's drunken tirade? Does the fact that Len was not on the show have anything to do with it? Also, I listened to the show 26 for fun. The show has become 100 million % better over the course of 200 episodes. Thanks for all you guys you do. Also, on a side note, is it true that technically no one has died on Walt Disney World because they rushed the body to a hospital or off property before the victim dies? Your thoughts and answers, especially those of Len and Christine, are much appreciated. I don't know why the PS was longer than the actual note. Well, it's true that it is true about the death thing. Technically, no one has ever died on Walt Disney World property because they can die on property, but they don't pronounce them dead until they get off property.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's kind of a technicality more than anything else. And Lou is a good sport. That's all I'll say. Even though he's overrated. Yeah, he's... I'm going to leave it at that. Next email is from Cheryl Klein of Westfield, Massachusetts. Scopo, did you have all your family right into here?
Yep.
Hello, gentlemen. Thanks for a great podcast. It makes working out a little bit more bearable. My question is, if you're going to go hit all 4 parks in just one day, in what order do you do? And what would you do at each one?
It's a piece of cake.
All right, go ahead, Scopo.
Well, obviously, you start off with the Animal Kingdom, and you want to do it at early. You want to start off on a day that the Animal Kingdom is early magic hours and extra magic hours and morning. So you do that, and basically, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do Everest, and I'm going to do maybe Lion King, and I'm probably going to do Kilimanjaro Safari. And I won't do dinosaur. I'm with Matt. I don't think it's that good. Then I would go over to see. I think I would go over to MGM and do just 3 attractions there. Do Tower, Rock and Roller Coaster, and Great Movie Ride. Then I would go over to then I would go over to whichever of the last 2, either Epcot or Magic Kingdom, and I'm assuming it'll be Magic Kingdom. Whichever of the 2 will have extra magic hour evenings, and whichever one has the extra magic hour evenings, that will be my last stop. So let's say, for sake of argument, that Epcot is not going to have extra magic hours. I'd go over to Epcot early afternoon, late afternoon. I'm not sure if I'd be able to do Soarin', but I'd try to do Soarin'. Let me see, what else would I do? I'd probably try to do American Adventure, maybe have a nice late lunch, and then go over to Magic Kingdom for the evening and do your basic stuff over there.
Yep. And Mike Newell made it. Mike, you have an interesting point about where she's staying, right?
Right. Did she say if she's staying on property or not?
She didn't say in the email, but of course, if she's not staying on property, then she can't take advantage of extra magic hours.
Right.
The thing with doing all 4 parks in one day, although doable, I find that you spend more time. You feel at least like you're spending more time commuting than in the park because you're running around trying to fit it all in. But it does require a good amount of planning because you obviously want to be able to get certain key things done, and usually those key things are the most popular attractions in every park. So with the exception of Animal Kingdom, where you're hitting it in the beginning of the day, and that's going to be fine. Once you start hitting midday and you want to go, do the headliner attractions at the studios and whatever you're doing that second, third parks, that's when you're really going to hit the problem, especially if it's a busier time of the year, and especially if fast passes are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is that you can't depend upon Disney Transportation to pull this off either.
No. You got to rent a car. Next question is from Rob Mayer of Fenton, Michigan, who writes, "Hey guys, first of all, I want to say how much I enjoy your show. My question is, my family and I just got back from Disney World, and I just wanted to know if there was a way to get the music from Dreams Come True Parade, the music from the Pirates and Princesses Parade, and the music from the Stars and Motorcars Parade. Keep up the great podcasts." Isn't the Dream Come True Parade on a CD?
Yeah.
I think
Isn't there a parade? There's a parade CD. That's there's a parade CD. You could probably find it on. Is it Main Street?
Megastore.com.
Yeah. Yep. It's a blue. It has a blue cover on it. It's all kinds of parades on there.
As to Pirates and Princesses Parade, no, I haven't seen anything anywhere, legal or not.
No, I haven't seen anything.
And the Stars and Motorcars Parade, here's the thing. The Stars and Motorcars Parade, there are copies of, but it's not really the parade. What I mean by that is they don't have the... If you've ever listened to the parade, or seen the parade, rather, in the park, you know that there's kind of this Regis Philbin-type commentary going on. You know, oh, here comes Mickey Mouse, and, or here comes, Kermit the Frog. And in the recordings I've heard, there is no commentary. It's just that kind of music that just goes over and over and over again.
Yes, we don't hear Stone Granite.
Yeah, exactly. That's the name. So that's one thing to keep in mind. However, with all things music, Google is your friend.
Yes.
Because, we'll leave it at that. Yeah. Next email is from Tim from Rhode Island, who writes, "Hey guys, great show. I recently heard that there's been an increase in the Dole Whip float price to $4.25. One of the best value deals in my book of the snack option on the Disney dining plan was, of course, the float was included as it was under $4. If the price increase is true, is the Dole Whip float now not covered as a snack under the dining plan? How strict is Disney to the $4 rule? Thanks for your insights." Well, they're really, 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 really strict about the $4 rule. To put it lightly, Scopa.
The only way to find out is to get the latest PDF file that's on the dining plan to see if they're on there. And if you really want a Dole Whip, and I happen to know someone who really likes Dole Whips, just go over to the Polynesian, go to Captain Cook's and get a Dole Whip there. They're pretty cheap there.
Are they cheaper than the parks?
I think they're cheaper over there, yeah.
Oh, that's another secret divulged by Scopa.
Shh.
Well, of course, Newell's attempts to start a black market Dole Whip operation.
You may see them at Magic Meets.
Why don't you clue the listeners in, Newell?
I won't be
just gonna get there before me. That's all.
Since we're not going to broadcast, I figure I have something else to do, so I'm going to start making Dole Whips.
Newell's trying to crack the code. It's kind of like when the Soviets needed to make the nuclear bomb after the Americans had it, and he's trying to come up with the reverse engineer it.
I'm working on it.
Reverse engineer.
And if it gets a Scopa seal of approval, I'm gold.
There you go.
More magical elixir.
Next question is from Brett Rossback, who writes, "I'm going to run the half and full marathon in Walt Disney World in 2008, the Goofy Challenge. I have heard that it is most advisable to have a rental car for the race day so that I don't have to arrive so early and don't have to wait around for a shuttle. I would rather drive in agony than wait around in agony. Here's my question. What would be less expensive, renting the car at the airport or taking Magical Express to our room at Scopa Towers and getting a shuttle to the rental car center at Walt Disney World? I will be there for a total of 7 days." And a question for Len, so he's not here, so we're not going to answer that. So I think we talked about Scopa. Back in the past, it used to be cheaper at times to rent from the rental car companies that are on Walt Disney World property because you'd be saving the
fees,
airport tax. But I think recently the taxes it's been negated and it's either the same price or more expensive.
You're right. The only advantage that he would save would be, let's say he took Magical Express and then a day or two before the races he decided, well, I want a car to take me over to Epcot for the morning of the race. And I can tell you that they want everybody there by 4 a.m. for the 6 a.m. start. So regardless of whether you have a car or you still have to be there by 4. You really do. You need to get there early just to get into the swing of things. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you really gain anything either way.
Plus, one great benefit of renting a car is you don't have to use Magical Express, and you don't have to wait around for the bus to leave and for them to get to your resort.
Yeah, you want to get out of there. You want to get something. You want to get out of there. You want to get something to eat. You want to shower, and then you want to go back into the parks. And if you have to wait around for a bus, it's just going to be painful.
Yep. Next email is from Michelle of Syracuse, New York. It's, "Hi guys, great podcast. My question is this: we're going to be staying at the Grand Villa at Saratoga Springs for our daughter's fairy tale wedding at the end of March." 2008, obviously. Then traveling to Vero Beach for 3 nights to rest up after the wedding. Someone needs to screen these emails. Originally, we were going to take a town car to the resort and then rent a car on site, returning it to the airport just after visiting Vero. Then my husband had to have a triple bypass, and I just had surgery as well, so we're not really looking forward to returning the rental car at the Orlando airport because of the luggage and the stress of dropping the car and making the plane. For health reasons, we were trying to make this as stress-free as possible. We're considering just using a busy traveler transport service from Saratoga to Vero, then Vero to the airport, but of course that means we won't have the rental car available at Saratoga Springs or Vero. What do you guys think? Have any other suggestions? I don't really think returning, of all the places I've ever returned a rental car, Orlando has never really been one that's really stressed me out.
No, absolutely.
And I think the other thing, Michelle,
Well, it
is
depends on who you rent with.
this is also true. I would say if you're concerned about being stressed out by time, you need to get there really early then.
What if she did this? What if they used Magical Express to get to their resort, and then while they're at Disney, they rent a car, and then a day or two before they leave, they turn in the car and they take Magical Express back to the airport?
See, I think Magical Express is just as stressful if you're taking it back, because you have to be at a certain time.
9 hours ahead of time.
Yeah, and you're not on your own schedule, you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world if you're 5 or 10 minutes behind or ahead of when you want to leave if you're renting a car.
And if you're renting a car that's on site, you don't have to take the shuttle bus. It's absolutely less stress.
Yeah. I would say, I think, Michelle, the best option is to go with your original plan for renting and just give yourself more time than you may have in the past. Give yourself plenty of time so you're not stressed out, because it's always better to get to the airport with way too much time than not enough time.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
Yep. And Scope, what you must have, like, what? How many hearts are you up to now? 4? 5?
Unlike you, man, who has no heart.
That's right.
Whoa, thank you.
Ouch.
I'm stepping up to Scopa tonight.
Yeah. My God, Len comes off the show and Newell starts talking. Next email is from Daniel in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's Matt, Len, Mike, and Mike. Love the podcast. We're planning a trip to Walt Disney World this summer, and I've been able to annoy the family to death with all of the info you guys deliver. Just like our families. We'll be there for 10 days in the parks. We will do 8 full days in the parks, plus 1 water park day and a Disney Quest day, per my 10-year-old daughter's request. I'm hoping that we'll be able to see enough of the park to last for at least 10 years, as we'll probably not get back there until then. Wow. We will be traveling with my wife's parents and her sister. My wife is in her extremely late 30s, and I'm in my early 40s. Her parents are in their late 50s, and their sister in their mid-30s. Anything we should keep in mind as not to miss for a mixed group like this? Mixed group. This is always interesting, because whether it's toddlers and teenagers and
grandparents.
I mean, it's always hard to cater to multiple generations, because you want to inevitably go on attractions that everybody can enjoy.
Well, first thing comes to mind is Cirque du Soleil. If they've never done Cirque du Soleil, I think it would be a good idea.
That's a good option.
If you are going with attractions, then again, you need to know if they're into thrill rides or shows.
Because there are people, there are a lot of senior citizens. I mean, they're not even senior citizens. We're talking about parents in their late 50s. But even so, you've got senior citizens. You'll find, one group of senior citizens that'll ride Tower of Terror 3,000 times, and there's another group that won't go near it. So it kind of depends on, obviously, health and, of course, what their personal preferences are. So you got to know the group you're going with. By the sound of it, it doesn't sound like that this is a everyone wants to try everything kind of thing. I could be wrong, but if that was the case, then I would figure they wouldn't be emailing us. I would just try, obviously stick to attractions that everybody can do as the basis of everything. That should be the focus of your day. Attractions like, the Great Movie Ride, Soarin', any of the 3D shows,
Muppets.
More so Muppets. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Newell.
Carousel
Philhar Magic, Carousel, exactly. Attractions that Splash Mountain, even. I think that falls under. It's not that much of a thrill attraction.
Falls.
If you think it's a thrill attraction, then I wasn't even trying.
Falls.
I get it. Anyway, yeah. So that's my advice. Newell, I got all the jokes this show. Any advice?
People Mover's good.
Scopa, when you go, you've gone mostly just with your family. Do you have any?
I know where you're going with this.
There's a joke to be made here, but I was going to ask you, Mike, is there any advice that you could go when you're trying to span the generations?
Well, it's really hard, because I do things my kids won't do, and it depends upon the individual. I think that what you need to do is you need to take an inventory as to what people want to see before you actually go down there. Have an idea as to what everybody in your party has as his or her favorite, and make sure that that person gets to do his or her favorite attraction. And if you cover everybody, then I think it's a successful trip. I think that everybody also has to realize that not everybody's going to want to do thrill rides. Not everybody is going to be happy to do the dark rides. Not everybody's going to be happy to do shows. And so I think that there's going to be times when, and I recommend this highly, that when you're in a park and you have a couple of favorites to do that others don't, so you split up for an hour or so and do your thing, and then go back.
We've got time for one last email from Justin from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. All right, hey guys, just want to say I love the show. You make listening while on my daily jog. You make great listening while on my daily jog. I might be able to make an unplanned trip in May. This all depends on my fiance, who will be in Orlando for a conference, and if she lets me go. I plan on staying at Scopa Towers. Anyway, on to the questions. First question, I was wondering if any of you will be down there at that time. I'm not going to be down there in May. Well, not until the end of May. And Justin says, due to my short stay, should I take the time to see the Nemo, the musical show? We are tentatively going again in February. I would say so. I enjoyed it. I've seen it a couple times. Yeah, why not? I enjoyed it. I think it's good. It's fun. Catchy songs. I've enjoyed it. I would say there's no reason why you shouldn't.
You can dance to it.
There you go. That's it for us today. Again, this show has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. Did I sound like what's his name? Noel from New York?
No.
Warner Wolf?
No.
Anyway. For current offers, just visit their website at mousefantravel.com. And, of course, we also wanted to take a moment to remind you that on April 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is our next live show. Be sure to come in. Scopa will personally welcome everybody who comes into the show, and it's going to be a lot of fun, so come on to the show.
Welcome.
So, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on April 29th. Show up then. And that's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.today.com.
Welcome.
Send Scopa back to the old people home. You can also email us at questions at www.today.com. For last episode, Mike Scopa and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hatchberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Welcome.